Welcome, everybody. Today, I have a very special treat for you because you get to meet my father. That's Dr. Sungchul Ji. Welcome, Dad.
Hi, my son.
My dad's a bit of a secret weapon for me because ever since I was a young child, he would help me to investigate the mysteries of the universe. I remember having incredible conversations every night at the dinner table. And one of the features of my father's way of thinking as a scientist is he's very philosophical. So if I had a question about the universe, he wouldn't necessarily have a definitive answer. In fact, it would often lead to many more questions. So I give my father credit for my philosophical interests in nature. But today, one of the great things about my father's journey is that he's 88 now. And even yesterday, oh, actually, it was a couple days ago, he was doing his version of the Kennedy Challenge with pull-ups. And interestingly, one thing that led to this conversation is that in August of last year, my father was regularly working out and he happened to have an accident at the gym where he slipped, he hit the back of his head. I saw the video and it was amazing, Dad, because you really prevented an even bigger disaster because you almost recovered, but you hit a sharp object, and that led to a really traumatic experience, which ultimately led you to the ICU. Your heart stopped for a few seconds. You had brain swelling, but you came back so strong that in many ways I attribute my own resilience to you. So in that journey, and I'll ask you to share more in a minute, is that my father ended up also with some ulceration in ways related to a pre-existing condition, which is around blood sugar disorder, type 2 diabetes, and it looked like basically flesh-eating disease was eating away at your calf area. So essentially, we tried everything we could to approach this naturally and came up with an incredible solution that we want to share later. But before we go there, feel free to take the mic, Dad, and kind of introduce
Yes,
yourself.
I sleep at uh, uh, the treadmill, and as my son just described, I fell backward and hit some instruments, uh, and I lost my consciousness for a while. And when I woke up, it was in ICU unit, and um, so I was temporarily unconscious, uh, and I stayed in the ICU unit for oh, a day or
It
two.
was probably about 3 or 4 days. In fact, they
Yes,
wanted to put a pacemaker in, and you decided against that.
yes.
Yeah.
Uh, Now, before that accident, I had uh, type 2 diabetes and had some ulceration on my legs. And that accident aggravated and increased ulceration dramatically after I got out of the hospital. And um, about a week or two later, the ulceration spread on my legs, and some doctors worried that it may spread all through my body. And we didn't know what to do. And Saya recommended royal jelly. And I didn't believe that the royal jelly will heal it. But I said, we'll try it because I don't have anything better to do. So I let him apply royal jelly on my open wound on my legs. Uh, and he gave me uh, a bottle of royal jelly. So I used to do it myself for about a month, and it began to heal. After about 2 weeks, I could see the healing effect of royal jelly. So I kept doing it until the wound is completely gone. And I couldn't believe it. And that happened in about about 1 month or 2 months after initiating the royal jelly treatment.
I'm going to show
And
them a picture, Dad, while
okay,
we're talking of what it looked like, where you had, really severe
yeah,
ulcerations. It really looked almost like flesh-eating disease, and you had just been in the hospital, which is a very common way to contract such a strain. So over the course of a matter of, here we have, it was about three, almost 4 weeks, you see the reepithelialization that occurred as well by the end, and you can't see the bottom photos, but it's perfectly clean. There's no scars.
uh-huh.
It's completely healed. And previous to applying, we actually used Manuka honey for about a week.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. And was your experience with Manuka honey?
Manuka honey seemed to be helping, but I couldn't tell. I knew Manuka honey did not cause spreading of wound. It seems to stop, but I couldn't see the healing effect until royal jelly was applied. With the royal jelly, I could see within a few days, I could see the healing effect of royal jelly.
Also, one thing the doctor at one point said is that if we couldn't figure out a way to get this to, reverse, that you could lose your leg.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
uh, yeah. He was worried about it because it looked so bad. The wound looked so bad.
I would make a point too. Many may they don't know what royal jelly is, so I'll quickly explain. So when it comes to the queen bee of the hive, the only difference between the worker bee that then becomes the queen bee is the food that they're fed. The first, I believe it is 3 days of a worker bee's life, they basically get this royal jelly, which is very different from it's called bee bread. It's sort of pollen and other things that are consumed that the normal bees get. It's actually just produced for these worker bees for 3 days, and then the queen is given it her entire life. And that's the only difference between a regular bee and a queen. It's this epigenetic, uh, substance that enables it to differentiate into this whole other amazing creature.
Hmm.
The other thing is, I wasn't aware really of the benefits of royal jelly until I actually researched it. It was while we were going through this process that of, we were trying Manuka, we were trying other things, and essentially what happened was that I myself was getting concerned and worried. So what I did is I decided to do more research, and that's when I wrote the article that you see here on royal jelly and its sacred nature, looking at some of the research that has emerged that shows it can activate the pluripotent stem cell pathway so that it can increase regeneration. And so that was one of the things that encouraged me to recommend it. Because, Dad, at one point I was really worried for your leg, and I wasn't sure Manuka was going to do the trick.
Hmm.
So what was your experience then generally like, using natural medicine? And have you used any other natural medicines, in the past year or so?
No, I think royal jelly, Manuka honey is one of the first uh,
How about your
natural
insomnia?
medicine. That came later.
Hmm.
Yeah. Now, this aggravation of the wound, leg wound, open wound, uh, was occurred because after getting out of the hospital, well, I neglected uh, taking care of a wound so much. Yeah. So the accident, I think, aggravated the spreading of the wound for a while until Sayer started treating with the Manuka oil first, which is sort of stopped spreading, and then eventually royal jelly, which completely healed in about a month's time.
One thing I'll share too is that my experience with Manuka began almost 25 years ago
Mm.
when people would come into, for goodness sake, the natural health store chain that I was an educator and manager for, and they would have flesh-eating disease they were diagnosed with where
Mm.
they couldn't use traditional methicillin-based antibiotics, and they had really no hope. Their
mm,
their leg or their arm was starting to actually be digested by this
mm.
bacteria. They would use Manuka honey, and it would actually cure it. And I looked it up on PubMed, and I was just shocked to
I see.
find all this great research. So that was one reason why I knew about Manuka.
Mm.
But this to us is a really powerful case study in the application of something which may provide hope to those who will end up losing their leg or perhaps experience really bad side effects from conventional antibiotics.
Due to diabetes, that type 2 diabetes often leads to a leg open wound like mine.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's right. Part of it was inactivity because you end up, when you're immobilized, getting things like bed sores.
yeah.
But when you have diabetic, you know, proclivities, it makes it even harder. And you had such a shock to your immune system that I
Mm.
think that also caused this to happen. But when you look at your skin now, it's amazing. It's very smooth.
Yeah,
So
I can show it
if you
actually.
can,
Yeah,
let's
no
see. I don't know
problem.
if I can move the camera down.
Oh,
Well, actually, you know what? I think I can. Yeah, it's portable. Um, Let me see what
because to me, it's a miracle.
it's a miracle.
Miracle.
That's what natural medicine is sometimes. Um, yeah, he's got compression socks on.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really bad. I mean, gosh, guys, when you looked at it, it was just blistered
So
and red and bleeding. And now,
here,
actually, if you can move just closer to this side, yeah. Let's
this
see.
side,
Yeah, let's see. Oh, there we go.
can
We'll
you
see.
see?
Yeah. So this is on, which one was this side? This side?
This is
Yeah.
on both sides.
Yeah.
Windows, it started here and that
Yep.
it appeared here
Hmm.
and then they healed.
And you had older ones up here that were more scarified.
No, this is due
Yeah.
to
That was new.
acupuncture,
That was,
Max Bostrom.
I see. Got
Yeah,
it.
that's
Okay.
Max
Yeah,
Bostrom.
but
It's
yeah,
these two,
completely healed. Amazing.
here and here.
Yeah, that is amazing, Dad. So, we're doing this video in part to give hope to those who might otherwise not have awareness about some of these evidence-based approaches. Of course, that's why I created GreenMed Info, was to index research, but it's until you apply it in a very practical way and you see the alleviation of suffering that it really becomes exciting. That's when you're like, okay, natural medicine. So the other thing that happened to my father is after this near-death experience, where he was in the hospital, I remember the doctors were very persistent. They meant well. The ICU was full of people that were immobilized, really paralytics they were using so they could heal. My father was the only one that was really alert and was able to make an informed choice, but they really wanted him to put a pacemaker in because he was experiencing atrial fibrillation. When I did the research on pacemakers, I found that the net benefit was very hard to assure. And so ultimately, he chose not to go that route. And now we see that he's actually recovered, I think, to the point before you went in.
Mm.
I think some of that has to do with the fact that you're very athletic. I am as well. So if we put our minds to something, I find him doing squats at the gym. He's doing pull-ups. He's recovering at 88. It's pretty amazing. So one of the things that also happened was you experienced such debilitating insomnia after that
Oh,
episode.
yeah, yes.
Tell us more about what you did to solve that
Yeah,
issue.
that's the insomnia story is as miraculous as my leg wound. About 2, 3 months ago, I started having insomnia. I couldn't sleep at night. Uh, no matter what I do, I couldn't sleep. So I used to fear night time. I used to fear the evening is coming because that meant t- the painful insomnia. Uh, and when I couldn't sleep, I sit on my balcony and see the rooms, all darkened rooms of the next building. Everyone is sleeping, but I couldn't. And so often I thought of, you know, maybe dying would be better than living with the insomnia. That thought occurred to me several times. And I used to go to acupuncturists, American acupuncturists in South Florida when I moved here at the recommendation of my daughter Mia. And I've been going to him for general health reason, acupuncture for over a year. And I happened to complain to him one day that I couldn't sleep at night. And he said he could do something about it. And I didn't believe him. So he gave me some Chinese herbal medicine to take for insomnia. And he used to give me another herbal medicine for general health, for improving immunity and so on. And that was going on for a while until I complained to him about my insomnia, and he gave me additional herbal medicine specifically for insomnia. So I started taking that, and I could tell immediately, a day or two, I could sleep better. Insomnia went away, and I couldn't believe it. So since then, I've been taking insomnia Chinese herbal medicine over a month now, and I'm convinced that this thing works. When I take insomnia medicine, in about 2, 3 hours, I feel asleep, and insomnia pain goes away. I feel very relaxed and sleepy. And for example, last night I took medicine around 10 o'clock. I usually have supper around 7. I took the medicine about 10 o'clock and I started sleeping from 11 o'clock until 9 a.m. this morning, except waking up between 2 and 3. There's some insomnia period episode, 2 to 3, but I slept from 11 o'clock to 9 o'clock a.m. Amazing. And when I got up at 9 o'clock, I felt fresh. And I feel very fresh right now. So this Chinese herbal medicine works for me. And I don't know if it's work for everybody, but I strongly recommend this Chinese insomnia medicine, herbal medicine for those who are suffering from insomnia.
So it's interesting because if you go to Green Med Info right now, you'll see over 70 different natural substances that have been researched and 36 therapeutic actions, which can include all types of things like, acupuncture, to aromatherapy. But the one thing that's not listed here is Chinese herbal medicine. It just shows you that there are so many solutions that are natural that if you just find the right one for yourself, it could have literally life-saving effects. Because my father was really getting depressed to the point where I could tell, your will to live wasn't there. And, when you're in that position, he also was struggling with what I think is a downstream effect still of having received several of the COVID jabs from many years ago. And some of the problems that emerge are, your cardiovascular system doesn't work as well. He was starting to have signs of congestive heart failure with buildup of fluid in your lung at night, right? So you started to approach this through different angles. You had a lot of vitamin C that was helping to strengthen your cardiovascular system. You were also doing, workouts with one of our incredible colleagues who's an expert on supporting people to recover. So it was really just using a lot of approaches. You eat very well. Your blood sugar has been very well controlled. You are using a monitor, where you can tell real-time blood sugar. So, my father has become kind of like the ultimate example of the longevity expert because, I mean, who can argue with 88? He's active, he's independent, he works out sometimes more than I do because he's although he is by his desk a lot and we try to work on that because he loves to work like me. He's very active. You can follow him on his Substack. He's an incredible philosopher.
Like last night when I couldn't sleep, I decided to do something. Instead of, lying in bed, I was open, waiting for sleep to come. I decided to do something, and this is the result of working for about an hour. Uh,
Let me read the
yeah,
title there. It's
yeah,
the
with
quote, a unified theory of organized systems.
the
It's very heady. I suggest I'll put a link in the show notes here
yeah,
for
yeah.
people to read it on your Substack. But Dad, to close, I'd love people to get a better sense of your journey to this sort of like, natural medicine, given you are someone that, was a pharmaceutical, toxicological,
Mm,
biochemist.
pharmacologist.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like tell us more about what you think the future of natural medicine holds. Do you see it expanding? And, just anything you can maybe close off with.
Yeah, I think natural medicine should be viewed very, very uh, in valuable uh, as much as Western medicine. Western medicine uses artificial chemicals. Natural medicine uses natural chemicals that have been proven to be beneficial over thousands of years of human experience. So natural medicine, whenever possible, should be taken or should replace artificial medicine whenever possible.
Mhm. That means a lot coming from you, Dad. So hopefully people out there will, be encouraged by your story. I'm so grateful you're still here with me and stronger than ever, as prolific as you can imagine. I know I'm pretty prolific, but this guy takes the cake. So anyway, it's been a great pleasure to introduce my father.
Thank
Yeah.
you, my son.
Love you, Dad. And we're so happy to have him. We can thank nature for that. And if you want to empower yourself with natural medicine, don't forget to use the free resource, greenmedinfo.com. Share it with friends and family. And hopefully, if you like this, put some comments down below. And, if you have more questions for my father, I'll get those to him and I'll be happy to answer so he can join us on a future live stream like this. All right. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Goodbye.